Hey, welcome everybody. This is Bob Payne, and again, creating another tutorial to help you guys out. And using some of the new tools in Blackboard Service Pack 13, there's a new tool called Video Everywhere, and I'm going to show you some of the things that I've done with it, and you might want to be able to give some thought to how you can see yourself using this in class. Just going to quickly show you how to use it. But first, what is Video Everywhere? Video Everywhere allows you to do anytime you want instant capture video moments. So you can create a little hi, it's me. So maybe your introductory bio thread at the beginning of week 1. Hi, this is me. Here's a little bit about myself. Please introduce yourself to the class. That's one way that you can do it. There's a number of different things that you might want to consider using in it, and we'll talk about that in a second. So what actually do you need? Well, you already have a Blackboard account, and this is a new tool that's available on the in the text editor on the third toolbar. Actually, I'll show you that in a second. And it's already built in. As long as you have a webcam, you're good to go. You'll need to originally, the first time you do this, is set up your Video Everywhere to connect with your YouTube account. They'll have you sign in, and I'll show you where that is in a second. And it's actually pretty easy to use. So you'll need to have a webcam, you need to have a YouTube account, which you already have because you're a Baker individual, and so you have all this stuff. So a number of different places you can put it. Let's start with maybe discussion board. You want to say hi, welcome, so forth. This is a test course that we just kind of play with some things, do some training and whatever. So I think I'll go in this board right here. Doesn't have anything in it right now, and I am going to create a thread. So I can say welcome video. Maybe that's what I want to call it. Now sometimes your toolbar might look like this. You might only have this one line. You need to come over here to this little drop down chevron where it says show more, and you click on that and you get these 3 lines of toolbars. This one over here in the bottom left, it kind of has a red dot inside this little circle, so it's a little image of a webcam, and if you hover your mouse over it, you can see it says record from webcam. So I'm going to click on that, and it opens up this particular box. Now you have 2 choices here. If you have videos that you've previously recorded that you'd like to import at this point and load into this particular spot in the class, you can click on this Browse tab and it will go right to your YouTube account, and you'll be able to insert that video. But what we're going to do is we're going to record here, so you just want to make sure this record tab is the one that's in white here, or in front if you will, and so it'll say record from webcam. So I'm just going to click on the record from webcam. It's going to want to identify, I happen to have a couple of different Google accounts. You want to use your Baker Google account because it'll deal with your Baker your Baker YouTube account, and that's what's really important. So I'm going to go ahead and log in here, and I'm identifying which one I'm using, and so here we go. So you can see that I am logged in here, signed in as Robert Payne, webcam video. So it's going to date and timestamp this thing once I start. Down in this area, there's a timing mechanism. So as you start this video, you'll be able to see how long it's taking you. And so again, depending on what you're doing, probably don't want to do too many things that are more than 5 minutes. If you're showing some process and the steps along the way, it might take you a little bit more than that. But I might actually think about chunking it. If you think it's going to be 5 minutes, 10 minutes, it's going to be longer than that. If it would have to be a 30-minute presentation, you might want to break it into 2 or 3 parts and keep them smaller. Have a tendency to retain your audience a little bit better that way, I think, sometimes. So all you would have to do is hit the start recording. Another thing to pay attention to is making sure you're not on mute. So you notice this little green bar that's moving up and down here. That's actually kind of showing my volume, and as long as it's moving when I'm talking, we're in pretty good shape. Another thing you can do is you might want to check your background, see if there's anything distracting behind you. Might want to do something like adjust your light a little bit. That's a personal preference. You're trying to make this thing kind of look professional, look like you put a little time into it. So whenever you're ready, which I will be here in a second, I'm going to start recording, and I just press this button. It says the website, ol.baker.edu would like to use your webcam to upload to YouTube. And you're going to say OK. And as you can see, we have started recording. When I want to stop, I just go over here and hit the stop recording. So you could say, hi, welcome to ABC 101. I'm Bob Payne. I'm your instructor for the next 6 weeks, 10 weeks. And a couple of things that I want you to focus on in class is bullet point 1, bullet point 2, bullet point 3. Let's have some great conversation there. If you have any questions, please post them to the board. I check the board every day. Be there to help you whenever I can. Anything you think anybody needs to know, that's a good place to put it so I can share the answer, and then everybody can benefit from our little question and answer session back there. And anything else you may want to say at this particular point regarding this. You might want to even, maybe you can encourage your students to go ahead and try this video everywhere to post their welcome thread, their bio thread, or something that you would like them to do. So at this particular point, I'm going to stop recording. So I hit start recording. I have the ability to start over if, for example, maybe I was tripping over my tongue, and you will find the first few times you do this, you're probably not going to be as smooth as you'd like to be. And so you might want to maybe practice once, see how it is. Nah, I didn't quite get it, so I'd like to start it over. All I'd have to do is hit start over. It erases that 1 minute of material that I have and allows me to redo this. But if I'm satisfied with what I need, all I'm going to do over here is hit upload. So once I hit upload, it's now doing its processing. And so the default is, notice it's no longer in the record tab, it's now in the browse tab, which means we're kind of in the back office side of YouTube right now. So your choices are play in place, and it already gives you some size constraints here. You can adjust those if you want to play with those. You don't want to necessarily make it too big because you're not sure what size screen these people are going to view this in. It may not be a computer. It could be a tablet or a smartphone. So usually I would just leave this as a default. The other choice here is it produces a small thumbnail, and the video actually opens up in a new window. So that might be something you may want to consider as well. Let's assume that this play in place, just so you can see what it looks like, is what I want. I'm going to click insert, and you see this little yellow box that's popped up right in here. All I need to do is go down and hit submit. Once I do that, we now have this particular thread in there. And if I click on this welcome video, there's my video. I have my controls. I can still, as somebody who's viewing this thing, a student is not going to have edit and delete. A student is going to have reply and quote. But I'm in as a faculty person, so I have other choices. But reply and quote, if there was a comment that a student wanted to make while watching either my video or somebody else's video, they'd have the ability to do that. You can see how long this thing is, 1 minute, 1 second. They can go full screen over here if they want to. The fact that you're putting it on YouTube, once you open this up, anybody who needs it, there's already built-in text capture. There'll be a little CC button down here in the corner. So if anybody needed closed caption, it's done for you already. That's another reason why YouTube is a very good tool to use. And then obviously this is the play. Once you hit the play, you'll get a toolbar that'll have those other buttons like fast forward, rewind, pause, those types of things. Okay, so relatively simple as it regards to putting something just in. Again, this is just in a discussion board thread. But another place that you might want to consider that I've actually used is for feedback. So I'm just going to go into the Grade Center here, and I'm just going to pop up the full Grade Center. I'm looking for something specific. Let's see, Seminar 4. I think I want to go right here. So I think there's actually something in here. We can see that something has been submitted through the assignment link. And again, this is a test class, so hopefully this is actually a document that's in here. Yep, looks like this is the one I'm looking for. So I'm just clicking on View Attempt to open the item. So the item pops up on the page, as you guys know, that you're using the inline grading, which is another very nice tool here in Blackboard. So you have the document right here, and you might want to actually make some comments on this, and you can go up here and use the comment tool and make those. But you have the ability to pull up those toolbars in this particular grader feedback area. You may not know about this, but if you come, normally you would just type in this box, but if you come down here to this A and you click on this A, This gives you the toolbar that we were talking about. Remember those 3 lines? And guess what? You got video everywhere here. So I can click on video everywhere. I basically get the same thing as I had before. Again, I'm in the record tab mode. When I'm done, it's going to put this thing in YouTube for me. So I'm just going to hit record from webcam. Again, if I was going here the first time, it may actually have me have to put my login information, but since we were just there and we haven't closed out, it remembered who I was, and so I'm now ready to start recording. Again, it's going to say, hey, you want to upload this to YouTube. So as you can see, we start counting. Hello, Mary. This is Bob Payne, your instructor for ABC 101. I just wanted to give you some feedback on the Seminar 4 research project portion that you submitted. The Seminar 4 piece is, you know, whatever. It's your literature review, it's your financial analysis component, whatever the particular piece is, and whatever I would want to say about her performance. I might talk about how things that she learned early on in the course should have been brought into play at this particular point, and she should have been applying those. And if she struggled or had any issues, or maybe this part is going to lead to another part later on down the road, I can talk about how she may want to improve, or where she could look in the book, or maybe you want to ask me or some students some questions, do a little bit more work. Maybe this is weak. Maybe it's in really good shape and you want to point out all the positive things. You'd have the ability to do that right here. And again, you could still write on the document and have the comments on the document itself, plus provide the audio piece to go along with it. Maybe you don't want to do that with an assignment like I pulled it up. Maybe you want to do that, what I've been doing lately is for participation. Usually the participation column in an online class anyway is the last column of each seminar week, and usually that's where not only do I talk about what the participation performance was for the week, but that's where I also talk about overall how the student did, and I usually come up, I do a cumulative total. So if it's week 4, I tell you how many points you have out of how many that were possible, what your cumulative score is, your percentage, and if class ended today, what your grade would be, so you know exactly where you stand. Normally I do this in writing, but with this new tool, Video Everywhere, this might be something to consider for maybe some feedback. Or you showed, I showed the discussion board area for the original one. Hi, it's me. Really anything else you want to do, you might think about it from students that maybe would do a paper. Is it possible that maybe a paper / little mini presentation? Couldn't you have students do a 5-minute hey, take whatever you had, your recommendation, that the paper that you're writing up, and assuming that this is going to be something that you eventually have to present to an executive team, and make the student put together a 3 to 5 minute presentation explaining the major points of the recommendation in the paper, and maybe talk a little bit about your sources and future plans or whatever. I mean, you guys are creative, you guys are fun, you can do this kind of stuff and figure it out. So again, we don't need all this. I'm going to stop recording. Again, to upload, I have my choices. Just go over here to show you something different. Show you what the thumbnail looks like. It takes a little longer to render this particular piece, but there we go. You're all set. That's all there is.